Good morning. This is the third recording for my students who are taking vocabulary development. As for the two previous recordings, the first was about what's special about academic English. That was the first lecture, and we talked about the word when it can be used academically, and the same word can be used academically, but it can be used every day. We talked a lot about that. So as for the second lecture, it was about the key adjectives, and we talked about the adjectives and the synonyms and the antonyms, and we did the exercises related to that lecture. As for today's lecture or recording, it's going to be about phrasal verbs in academic English. Okay, let me share the screen with you so that we can go straight to the book and see what's about phrasal verbs in academic English. Okay, this can be found on page 21. Okay, let's go to page 21. All right, phrasal verbs in academic English. Although phrasal verbs occur most frequently in most informal spoken and written English, they are also not uncommon in an academic context. You will hear them used in lectures and will read them in serious journals. From this unit, only go back over or look back over and work out are not appropriate for formal written assignments. Okay, what does that mean? It talks about phrasal verbs, and they are telling us that when it comes to look back over or go back over, as well as work out, these are the only two phrasal verbs that wouldn't be appropriate for a formal written assignments. Okay. The phrasal verbs, one word phrasal verbs and one word synonyms. Okay, let's see that phrasal verbs and one word synonym. Phrasal verbs often have one word synonyms. These are usually of Latin origin and sound more formal than their phrasal verb equivalent, but both are appropriate when writing or talking about academic subjects. Vary your language by using both. Okay, so this means that we have a phrasal verb and the synonym. And we talked about the synonym, that it carries the same meaning as the word, because a word, when we say that this word has a synonym, it means what? It means that this word has another, there's another word that shares the same meaning as the first one. Okay, so like for example, a simple example that can be given with the word clever and smart. What is the synonym of clever? Smart. So smart can be seen as a synonym of clever. So the same meaning. Okay, so when it comes to phrasal verbs, each phrasal verb has a synonym, okay? Let's look at the table here to see more of that. Okay, phrasal verb, synonym, and example. Okay, let me put this one up. Okay, put forward. This is the first phrasal. This is the first phrasal verb. Okay, put forward. It could be put forward an idea, or put forward a theory, put forward a view, an opinion, a plan. All of this can be used with put forward. Okay, so a phrasal verb with one of these words. Okay, as a synonym of a phrasal verb, put forward, or the meaning of forward is present. Present. Okay. Example. In her latest article, Kaufman puts forward a theory which is likely to prove controversial. Okay, again, in her latest article, Kaufman puts forward a theory which is likely to prove controversial. So here we can say we can replace the word or the phrasal verb. We can replace the phrasal verb puts forward with the present, and the meaning is going to be the same, because as I told you, the phrasal verb is the same as the synonym, okay, when it comes to the meaning. In her latest article, Kaufman puts a theory which is likely to prove controversial. You see, the meaning was the same. And however, as I told you, that put forward, it can be used with an idea, with a view, with an opinion. So you can say in her latest article, Kaufman puts forward an opinion, which is likely to be controversial, or we can say as well, in her latest article, government puts forward a view which is likely to be controversial. Okay, so let's move to the second phrasal verb, which is carry out. Carry out an experiment or carry out a research. Okay, and the meaning of carry out is what? The meaning of this phrasal verb, which is carry out, is what? Conduct. So we can say conduct an experiment, conduct a research, conduct a study, or carry out a study. Okay, so I intend to carry out a series of experiments. I intend to carry out a series of experiments. So we can replace this phrasal verb carry out and replace it with its synonym. So the sentence becomes, I intend to conduct a series of experiments, or I intend to conduct a series of researches, for example. Okay, so that was the second phrasal verb. The third, make up. Synonym, constitute. Example, children under the age of 15 make up nearly half of the country's population. Again, that's what the example of make up. Children under the age of 15 make up nearly half of the country's population. So make up, constitute. We can replace make up and put constitute, so that the sentence, the meaning of the sentence will be the same. Okay, children under the age of 15 constitute nearly half of country's population. Okay, the next is a verb, be made up of. Be made up of. Synonym, consist of. As an example, parliament is made up of two houses. Parliament is made up of two houses. We can replace, again, we can replace the phrasal verb with the synonym, so it becomes parliament consists of two houses. Parliament, or the parliament consists of two houses. Point out. Point out as a phrasal verb. Observe as a synonym. Gwen points out that the increase in life expectancy has led to some economic problem. Again, Gwen points out that the increase in life expectancy has led to some economic problems. Okay, we can replace the phrasal verb point out and put observe instead. So the sentence becomes Gwen observes that the increase in life expectancy has led to some economic problems. Okay, next, point up, highlight. So point up as a phrasal verb meaning highlight. The study points up the weaknesses in the current school system. The study points up the weaknesses in the current school system. We can say the study highlights the weaknesses in the current school system. Okay, so it's the same meaning. It's the same. So as I told you, when it comes to the phrasal verb with its synonym, the meaning is going to be the same. It wouldn't change. Okay, sit out. We need to be careful when it comes to the phrasal verb sit out, because it can be seen in two ways. Okay, as for the first meaning, to do something. In this case, the synonym of it will be aim, or sit out as a synonym described. Let's look at the first one, to sit out to do something, which is, in this case, as I said, the synonym of it is aim. In his article, Luzanov sits out to prove that so and so. Okay, in his article, Luzanov sits out to prove that. In this case, for this sentence, the meaning of sit out to do something, okay, or aim to do something, okay. In his article, Luzanov aims to prove. He wants to prove. He aims to prove, okay, to do something. Okay. When it comes to the second, it's the same phrasal verb, but it would give another meaning. Okay. The second meaning of the phrasal verb, let me put it in this way. The second meaning of the phrasal verb, as a synonym of it, describe. Okay. The document sets out the terms of the treaty. The document sets out the terms of the treaty. Okay, as I said, set out for this phrasal verb, it means describe. So the document describes the terms of the treaty describes. Okay, so we need to be cautious when it comes to set out because it has two meanings. Okay, this phrasal verb has two meanings: aim and describe. Okay, the next go into. It's another phrasal verb. Go into. The synonym of go into is what? Discuss. In this book, Sargent goes into the causes of the Civil War in some depth. In this book, Sargent goes into the causes of the Civil War in some depth. As I said, go into it means was discuss. So let's use the discuss instead of go into to see if there is any change with the sentence, and it wouldn't be because it's the same. Okay, this is because it's the synonym. It means the same. And this book, Surgeon, discusses the causes of the Civil War in some depth. Okay, look back over or go back over. Go back over, look back over. It's a phrasal verb, okay? The meaning of go back over or look back over, revise or review. Okay. We need to understand this revise and review because there's a British English and American English, and we need to understand this. Okay, let's go down here under the table to see revise is the English, is the British English synonym, okay? Revise is the British English synonym, and review the American English synonym. So here, we need to understand this, okay? When it comes to the word revise, is the British English synonym, and review the American English synonym. Revise in American English only means to edit or change something to make it better. To edit or to change something to make it better. And I'll give you a simple example. Let's say that you have put a post on your page on Facebook, okay? After half an hour or so, you've decided to do some changes for this post to make it better or more persuasive or whatever. So here you are editing it, right? You are changing this post so to make it better. So this is the meaning of revise. This is the meaning of revise. So revise in American English only means to edit or to change something, to change the post on your Facebook to make it better yeah, to make it better, okay? So as when it comes to review, is not used in British English in the context of preparing for a test as focused on here. Okay, so so go back over or look back over means meaning revise or review. Example, please go back over this term's notes, or please look back over this term's notes. So we can say instead of go back over or look back over, we can replace it with review. Please review this term's notes, or please revise this term's notes. Okay. The last phrasal verb that we have on this table is go through. And the meaning of, or the synonym of go through is what? Check. As an example, go through your calculations carefully. Go through your calculations carefully. So by replacing go through, which is a phrasal verb, to its synonym, we will have check your calculations carefully. Check your calculations carefully. So I hope that was clear. B. When it comes to B, okay, let's see. Yes, B, carrying out a research. Carrying out a research. After completing her first degree in zoology, Mina went on to apply to graduate school. Okay, let me refresh your memory about something, and this was said in previous lectures. We can see numbers above certain words, like number one here, and this is number 2, okay, as well. And we will find the number 3 as well, and number 4. So we talked about this in previous lectures. Whenever we come across these numbers, it means what? It means that we need to track them so that we can understand the meaning or the definition of the words the word that carries this number. Okay, so when it comes to number one, Amina went on to. So we need to track this to find number one under the text to see the definition or the meaning of that number. So here, when it comes to the text, after completing her first degree in zoology, Mina went on to apply to a graduate school. So went on to, it means what she did what? To do something after doing something else. To do something after doing something else. Also, this is number one, and this is number one, okay? So here, the explanation or the definition of number one. So went on to, it means what? Doing something after doing something else. To do something after doing something else. So, okay. So after completing her first degree in zoology, Mina went on to apply to graduate school. She wanted to work on animal behavior at a well-known institute in New Zealand. She wanted to work on animal behavior at a well-known institute in New Zealand. Again, the first verb work on, which is number two. She wanted to work on. She wanted what? She wanted to work on. It means she wanted to study or work in the field of. This is the definition on number two. Work on, it means what? To study or to work in the field of. So what did she do after completing her first degree in zoology? She wanted to work on, she wanted to study or to work in the field of animal behavior, okay, at a well-known institute in New Zealand. Okay, she set out, look at number three here, she set up a series of experiments investigating how bees communicate. All right. So she set up a series of experiments investigating how bees communicate. Number three, prepared or arranged. So she prepared a series of experiments. She prepared or she arranged a series of experiments investigating how bees communicate. Okay, she has noticed some curious behavior patterns, but has not yet worked out why her bees behave as they do. Again, she has noticed some curious behavior patterns, but has not yet worked out, look at worked out number four, worked out why her bees behave as they do. Okay, worked out number four. Come to a conclusion about. Okay, come to a conclusion about. So they will tell us that she has noticed some curious behavior patterns, but has not yet come to a conclusion, okay? Why her bees behave as they do. What she has observed seems to go against current theories of bee behavior, okay? What she has observed seems to go against, number five, go against not being in agreement with, okay? So what she has observed seems not to agree with current theories of bee behavior. Not to agree. What she found out wouldn't agree with the current theories of bee behavior. Okay, what she has observed seems to go against current theories of bee behavior. When she has completed all her research, she will have to write it all up. Okay, when she has completed all her research, she will have to write it all up. Write it all up. Write up is the phrasal verb. Write up is the phrasal verb. Write it up. Write it up, it means for important document, write in final form. Write in a final form. Okay, she would write it in a final form once she has completed all her research. Okay. All right, let's see at consult a good dictionary when you use phrasal verbs in your writing. For example, a good dictionary tells you when the object can be used before the particle. Okay, for example, write your results up, and when it cannot, this goes against the current theories. Okay, what does that mean? So it talks about a good dictionary. So consult, it means use a good dictionary. Whenever consult a good dictionary when you use phrasal verb. So when it comes to phrasal verb, and if you are not sure of this phrasal verb, and you are up to write an academic assignment, so you have to be cautious, and you have to use a good dictionary so long you are not sure of this phrasal verb. Okay, because for example, it tells you here, a good dictionary tells you when the object can be used before the particle. So here we are talking about what we talk about the phrasal verb. The phrasal verb is about what? It's about the main verb plus the particle. A phrasal verb, it was made up of two parts, if I may put it in this way. So the main verb and its particle, okay? The verb or the main verb and its particle. And the particle, it can be a preposition and it could be an adverb, a preposition or an adverb. When it comes to the example here, the up is an adverb, clearly it's an adverb, okay? So write your results up. So write up is the phrasal verb, and your result, it can be the object of in this sentence. So if let me put it in a sentence like you write your results up. You write your results up. Or you write up your results. Okay, the same. So you as a subject, write up is a verb or a phrasal verb, and your result is the object. So here we have a phrasal verb that can be split, if I may use this word, split into two pieces where the object can be put in between. Okay, so write your results up, write up, and this is a phrasal verb, write up, that was split into two pieces where the object can be put in between. However, this wouldn't be the case for other phrasal verbs. Let's look at the second example. This goes against current theories. Where's the phrasal verb here? Goes against is the phrasal verb. Goes against. Can we split this phrasal verb into two pieces where current theories can be put in between? No, it wouldn't work the way it worked with the first sentence. This goes against current theory. Let's try it, okay? This goes current theory against. Would that make any sense? Of course not. This goes current theory against. No, it wouldn't work, but it worked perfectly with the first sentence. Write your results up. Write your results up, or write up your results. So it worked perfectly with the first sentence, but with the second sentence, it didn't work. So that's the point. So you need to consult a good dictionary to tell you the situations or the type of phrasal verb that would accept such kind of splitting or to be put in two places where other words or the object can be put in between. Okay, let's go to the exercises. Exercises. Okay. 6.1, rewrite the sentences, replacing the underlined word in each sentence with the phrasal verb from A. So we need to go back to A, where phrasal verbs can be found there, so that we can be replaced with. Okay, we write the sentences, replacing the underlined word. So in each sentence here, how many sentences do we have? We have 8 sentences, right? 8 sentences, and each sentence will come across a word that's been that was underlined. Okay, and this is what we are going to do. We need to rewrite these sentences, replacing the underlined word. The first sentence conducted, the second sentence revised. Okay, so replacing. Rewrite the sentences, replacing the underlined word in each sentence with a phrasal verb from A. So we need to go to the phrasal verb in A. Just to show you phrasal verb in A, okay, we need to use these phrasal verbs, okay, so that we can rewrite these sentences, okay, rewrite the sentences. So, okay, note that both versions of each sentence are equally appropriate. So, so this is what I said when I said that both of these sentences, or when you replace the phrasal verb with the synonym, it's appropriate. It's the same, equally appropriate. The meaning wouldn't change. Okay, let's look at the first sentence. We conducted a series of experiments to set out our hypothesis. We conducted a series of experiments to set out our hypothesis. when it comes to the first, when it comes to this sentence, we conducted. So we need to go back to A to see the phrasal verb of conduct. So just let me refresh your memory about this. Conduct, keep in mind that we are talking about conduct. So we are conduct, we come across this word, conduct. Where is conduct? Here we go. This is the word conduct. Conduct, okay? So we need to replace it with what? With carry out. Okay, conduct is the word that was underlined, okay? That was underlined, and we need to replace it with carry out because carry out is the phrasal verb of conduct, okay? So what we are going to do is what we write the sentence by doing this. We carried out a series of experiments to test out our hypothesis, okay? Was that clear? I hope it was, okay? It is very easy, it's very straightforward. Just go to A and search for the phrasal verb and then replace the word with, okay? Okay, so as for the first word, the first sentence, we carried out a series of experiments to test out our hypothesis. Okay, that was the first sentence carried out. Number two, before the test, you should revise chapters 7 and 8 of your textbook. Before the test, you should revise chapters 7 and 8 of your textbooks. Revise, when it comes to the word revise, okay, what's the phrasal verb of this word? What's the phrase? Oh, this is the synonym of the phrasal verb because we talked about the phrasal verb and synonym, and we found out that the synonym of revise is the synonym of what? Can you remember? Okay, what was the revise? Look back over or go back over. Okay, revise. Where is revise? Revise or review? Revise. Yeah. Revise or review, okay? So the phrasal verb of it, the phrasal verb of revise or review is what? Go back over or look back over. So this is what we are going to do. This is what we are going to do. Okay, for sentence number 2, before the test, you should look back over or go back over chapters 7 and 8 of your textbook. All right, that was number 2. 3. In his article on the American Civil War, Kungston discusses the reasons why the situation developed in the way it did. Okay, again, in his article on the American Civil War, Kungston discusses the reasons why the situation developed in the way it did. Okay, so the word discusses here, the word discusses. What is the phrasal verb of discuss? Because discuss is the synonym of the word, like a synonym of a phrasal verb. So can you remember the word or so that we can replace it with discuss? So what do you think about that? Discuss. Let's go back to see discuss. Here we go. This is the word discuss, right? This is the word discuss. So we need to use what? Go into, right? Go into. So this is what we're going to do. Go into. So go into. Keep in mind this. In his article on the American Civil War, Kungston goes into the reasons why the situation developed in the way it did. Okay. So goes into. Okay. Cole presents some fascinating theories on the development of language in his latest book. Cole presents some fascinating theories on the development of language in his latest book. So presents it's the synonym of what? Can you remember? Presents is the synonym of what? Can you remember? Presented the first one that on the table. The first one. What do you think about it? It is put forward, right? The first one. Okay, put forward. Present. Okay. Present. This is the word present. It's the synonym of what? Put forward. And we said put forward a theory, put forward an opinion, a view, an idea. Okay. So present, put forward. Put forward. Okay. So Cole puts forward some fascinating theories on the development of language in his latest book. Okay, 5. The psychologist observed that it was very unusual for a younger child to behave in this way. The psychologist observed that it was very unusual for a young child to behave in this way. Okay, this is a synonym of a phrasal verb. I want you to go up and search for the phrasal verb that can be replaced with. Okay, so it becomes what the psychologist observed. So what do you think about this? The psychologist observed, where this can be found, observed. The psychologist observed. Let's go back to the sentence. The psychologist observed. So this is the word observed that can be replaced. This word observed made up of 2. Isn't it that points out? Observed. Yeah, here we go. Observed. Point out. Point out. Okay. Point out. Observe. It's point out. Okay. So it becomes the psychologist. The psychologist point out that it was very unusual for young children to behave in this. Okay. As for number 6, 7, and 8, you can do them just the way that I've shown you. I mean, just read the sentence and see see the synonym, and search for its phrasal verb, and this can be found, and then you replace it with it, and you will have a sentence with the phrasal verb, just with the same meaning of the one with its synonym. Okay, that was very straightforward. Let's now go to 6.2. Filling the missing word in this paragraph. Now, fill in the missing words in this paragraph. As part of my AM, I have been doing some research on language acquisition. I've been working. It's a phrasal verb, working, but this is the main verb, work, and the particle of the phrasal verb is what? Working. As part of my AM, I've been doing some research on language acquisition. I've been working on, right? Because this can be found with Mina. Mina, can you still remember her? Mina, after completing her first degree in psychology, Mina went on to apply to a graduate school. She wanted to work on. She wanted to work on. So it's the same, okay? Work on. As part of my, I've been doing some research on language acquisition. I've been working on how young children learn their mother tongue. I've been carrying what? Carrying out some experiments. Carry out, this can be found again. I guess it's here, carry out. Yes, here we go, carry out, which is conduct, the same meaning. She wants to conduct or carry out, okay? Carry, and the out is a particle, okay? So carry out. All right, so I've been carrying out, here out should be out here, okay? Some experiments to see how much reading to young children affects their language development. Okay, I've had a good supervisor who has helped me sit. Who has helped me sit what? Sit And we talked about sit, that it has two forms, okay? Or sit, it can sit out, but it has two meanings. And so the two meanings, so it means it has two synonyms, okay? Two synonyms, okay? Sit out, it can be seen as to do something. In this case, the synonym of it is gonna be aim, okay? Or sit out, it can be seen as describe, okay? So sit out can be seen to do something. In this case, they do give us the meaning of aim, or sit out can be seen as to describe or give description of something, okay? As for this text, where did we stop? I've had a great supervisor who has helped me sit out my experiments, and she's also pointed. And she's also pointed what? She pointed what? What was the rest of this phrasal verb? She pointed up, right? She pointed up. She pointed up, yeah. She pointed up, highlighted. It means she highlighted. She pointed up, okay? She pointed up. All right. I've had a great supervisor who has helped me sit out my experiments, and she's also pointed up lots of interesting things in my data that I hadn't noticed myself. I'm busy writing my work. So what do you think about this? My work. I'm busy writing my work up. And this can be found with with the text of Mia. Writing up. We come across this phrasal verb, writing up. Okay, and we have to explain writing your results up. Writing up is a phrasal verb. The meaning of writing up, to put it in a final form. When you are writing, but you have decided this is the perfect way, and I'm doing the final form of it, and that's it. Okay, so write up, to put it in a final form. I'm busy writing my work up now, and I think I should be able to put what? I should be able to put what? I should be able to put on some useful ideas. Okay. I've been really fascinating. It's been really fascinating, and I hope I may be able to go on to do a doctorate in the same field, although I certainly never set up to do a PhD. Okay, so this is all when it comes to 2.6. When it comes to okay, just doctorate and further certain sit out to do PhD. Sit out. So it's going to be sit out. It's going to be not sit up, but sit out. Yeah. Sit out. Yeah. Sit out. But here as a description, as I told you, because it has too many, it can be as a description or as an aim. Okay. So you need to understand the text so that you see the meaning accordingly. When it comes to this, I guess it's it is aim. So it can be seen as the aim, or let's see. It's really fascinating, and I hope I may be able to go on to do a doctorate in the same field. Although I certainly never sit out. Sit up to do. It means I certainly never interested or have an intention to do a PhD. So the aim. So here is the aim. Okay, it comes as the aim. Okay, very quickly, let's go to the last one, which is 6.3. Match the beginning of each sentence with the most appropriate ending. Feudal society was made. So we've got this number from 1 to 6, right? From 1 to 6. And we need to match them with these endings, okay? So it's a kind of matching the beginning of each sentence with the most appropriate ending. So these are the beginning of a sentence, and these are the ending of these sentences, but they are not matched. So it cannot be like this one goes with this one. No. So we need to read these sentences and to figure out the appropriate ending. Okay. Feudal society was made. I guess it's going to be with this one, with the last one. Feudal society was made up of clearly defined classes of people. So feudal society was made up of clearly defined classes of people. Okay, that was number one. Number two, Carlson was the first to put. Carlson was the first to put what? To put forward. I guess number two goes. This one goes with forward. With forward a convincing theory with regard to this question. Carlson was the first to put forward, because remember that put as a phrasal verb, put forward, the first one, that remember this. Okay, put forward. Okay, this can be found here. Put forward. Okay, so it's going to be okay. Put forward. So Carlson was the first to put forward a convincing theory with regard to this question. Her results appears to go what? Go. Does it go up or go out? Go out. Go against. This one was already used. Go against. So number three, her results appear to go against what she had found in her earlier studies. Yes, exactly. Excellent. So number three goes with this one. Okay, this is number three, and goes with against. Okay, go against. Her results appear to go against what she had found in her earlier studies. Her results appear to go against. Her results appear to go against what she had found in her earlier studies. Okay, that was number three. Number four, the investigation pointed. The investigation pointed. The investigation pointed. Is it up? Yeah, I guess this one. Yeah, and the investigation pointed up the flaws in the school's testing methods. Yeah. Number four goes with points up, points as a physical points up. So the investigation pointed up the flaws in the school's testing method. Number five, it took him a long time to work what? To work out the solution to the algebra problem. It took him a long time. It took him a long time to work out. Work out is the phrasal verb. Work out. It took him a long time to work out the solution to the algebra problem. Number six, the geography book sits. The geography book sits what? The last one that we didn't use, which is set out a lot of basic information. Yeah. So okay. So number six goes with this one. Okay. Okay. So it goes with this one. Yeah. Okay. So the geography book sets out a lot of basic information about all the world's countries. All right. The last thing that we have is 6.4. Answer these questions. Okay, you need to check out these questions to answer them. Okay, let's see number one. What sort of things might a scientist carry out? What sort of things that a scientist carry out? Can you remember the things that can be carried out or conducted? The first thing that we had on our table to carry out, no, not the first one, not but to carry out is to conduct a study, to conduct a research, to conduct an experiment. Okay, let's see, to conduct an experiment. The second one, not the first, yeah, the second one, to conduct, which is to carry out an experiment, a research, a study. So, so here the question was, what sort of things might a scientist carry out? A scientist might carry out a study. A scientist might carry out a research. A scientist might carry out an experiment. Okay, these are the things or sort of things that might be carried out by scientists. All right, that was number one. Number two, if you want to study something in more depth, what might you go on to do after getting a first degree? Again, if you want to study something in more depth, what might you go on to do after getting the first degree? Mina have told us about this. Mina told us about this, okay? After completing her first degree in zoology, Mina went on to apply to graduate school. After finishing her first degree, she went to apply to graduate school. So graduate school or postgraduate school when you finish, okay? So if you want to study something in more depth, you need to apply to study. So you need to pursue your higher studies. So okay. So it can be postgraduate, okay? So the question, if you want to study something in more depth, what might you go on to do after getting the first degree? After getting my first degree, I will apply for postgraduate studies, graduate studies or postgraduate study, okay? This is what you're going to do. Number three, what do postgraduate students typically have to write up at the end of their studies? Okay, we are talking about postgraduate studies. Postgraduate studies with write their thesis or dissertation. Their dissertation. It could be a thesis or a dissertation. Okay, this is what typically being written by postgraduate students. Okay, at least after finishing finishing their studies, so they would need to write their thesis or their dissertation. For what sort of things what sort of things do good students regularly look back over? What sort of things do good students regularly look back over? So good students will go back over or look back over, go back over or look back over to review or to revise. We talked about all of this. So good students would go back over their lectures, to review their lectures, go back over their notes or go back over their lectures. So it means to review the lectures or to review their notes. This is so. Or the good students would do that. Good students would do that. And they would go back over, look back over their notes, their lectures, their books, so that to prepare themselves for exams or for lectures and so on and so forth. Okay. So number five, what sort of things do scholars typically put forward in their lectures or articles? What sort of things do scholars typically put forward in their lectures or articles? So put forward. Didn't you hear this word somewhere at the beginning of our lecture? Put forward. So put forward. It could be a theory. Put forward a view. Put forward an idea. Okay. Well, let's see that. Put forward. Okay. Put forward. It could be put forward an idea. Put forward a view, put forward an opinion, put forward a theory, put forward a plan. Okay, so it could be an idea, view, opinion, and so on. Okay. What sort of things do scholars typically put forward in their lectures or articles? Okay, they would put forward their views, they would put forward their ideas, they would put forward their plans, they would put forward theories, and so on. Okay. The last thing, why is it sensible to go through any math calculations that you had to make as part of a research study before you draw any conclusions? All right. So it's a kind of question, why is it sensible to go through? And I want you to keep in mind that you are using these phrasal verbs, go through. The reason for all these questions is to show you the phrasal verbs and to practice these phrasal verbs, okay? So why is it sensible to go through any math calculation that you had to make as part of a research study before you draw any conclusion? Go through. Can you remember what is the synonym of this word? Go through is the phrasal verb, and but what's the synonym of go through? Check, right? Go through, check. It can be found here. Let's go to the table. Go through. This is the phrasal verb, and check. Check, right? And the example, you go through your calculations carefully or check your calculations carefully. So go through it, meaning check. Well, so the question becomes, why is it sensible to check any math calculations that you had to make as part of a research study before you do any conclusion? Yeah, it's sensible to do that to avoid any mistakes. So it's as simple as that, to avoid any mistakes, because you need to review, you need to check your calculations to make sure that they are correct and they are free from any mistakes. Okay, that's by saying this, I guess we come to the end of the TED lecture. Thanks for watching and listening. If you have any comments, any questions, please let me know by writing comments on our page on Facebook. Thanks for listening again, and Assalamu alaikum.